I'm gonna showcase the bio, which process-wise went quite similar to Wasteland, but I still think it's cool to do a walkthrough. Actually, without going into the DAW yet, I want to talk a bit about the background for the bio. I came up with it kind of in my dream. It's a really weird thing that you hear people say, yeah, I composed this in my dream. But in this case, that's actually how it went. I woke up in the morning. Well, for me, the morning, it was 11, but yeah. Like a dream where I was in distress, like some mental things, and there was fire, a lot of fire. And then I had these lyrics in my head. It was just the chorus with, and this is wrong, you're a liar, you put everything on fire. And then something was not really clear to me, and blah, 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 blah. Why did I settle with the buyer? That was all very clear to me, that part. And the blah, 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 it wasn't. That's what I filled up later. I didn't make any coffee. I remember that day. I didn't eat any breakfast or lunch or anything. I was very, very focused. So I sat down and I wrote the entire lyrics for the entire track in the end of the morning and the afternoon, basically. I was just sitting down and I just composed off that. And it fit really well with the lyrics. The biggest thing between the idea and it's getting to life is producing it. When I'm doing that, a lot of happy accidents occur, and that's what makes composing so much fun. Anyways, that's what I really like about making music. But it's also how I came up with this track. And it took me a very, very long time to actually produce it. I procrastinated on that a lot. But I did have the chorus. I wrote that very early on. I'm curious if I still have that. Yes, okay, I found the original demo version that I wrote. Here we are in the magical Cubase. I found the demo version. This is render 3, but the first two ones were just like really unfleshed out overall. I'm just gonna play the entire thing. It's cool to show the demo version. I went with a whole different vibe at first, as you can hear. A bit more classical in a way. I think those drums are still sort of going on, but with difference. Because this was just a loop on splice. Thought it wasn't very great. But it worked. And then with this. And this is the original chorus. As you can hear, the post chorus is super, super different. I changed up that one like 5, 6, maybe even 7 times. Anyways, eventually I settled with the whole this thing that you can hear here. But all the lyrics and the vocal melody stayed relatively the same. I sent it to Megan quite late on when I produced everything. I did change up a few things after in the production, but the one thing that happened, as you can hear, this is the original key. I transposed it up to semitones because that was more natural for Megan to sing in. So that was kind of a compromise. I felt like makes a lot of sense, because when you're working with a vocalist, you want to lean into their range and their strengths in their vocals. Otherwise, it's not great. Well, you can, but it's nice for them to shine, since the vocal is the lead instrument here. So as you can hear, piece by piece, I sold my shares, heart and it became a bit more moody and cinematic and ambient, which I really like. And now I'm just gonna go for the instrumentation that I did. Piano, I just played some simple chords. It's very emotional. And one trick I did is I copied what Carlos Rafael Rivera did for the Queen's Gambit, which he posted somewhere on YouTube. Definitely check it out. I think it's behind the music of the Queen's Gambit. What he did was a trick where he layered darker sounding piano with a brighter sounding piano. I think he used Noir, Felt, and Alicia's Keys, maybe even. So this is like a dark sound and a bright sound. And together it's a really full sounding piano. And I layer pianos quite often. That's a technique I started using more and more to kind of shape the sound better. Sometimes I wanted to... Usually it's a combination of felt and just a regular piano sound. But it depends. What you can also see is unicorda cotton, which I often layer at the top end. And it sounds like this. Which is really cool with the other piano notes. Just hear the difference. It just feels very dark and weak, and the cotton layer feels very bright, so it's... So having any sort of layer like that is really great. You can also do tuned percussion or stuff, also works perfectly fine. And yeah, then there's this, the atmospheres that play together with the piano. It's both Arcus. This is the, I think this is just the main patch with the strings. And then there's a harp patch that I made and distorted. So it sounds like this. It's very subtle.
Okay.
No, Siri, shut up. Sorry, that activated my phone. But yeah, this is just a really cool sound that I made very, very subtle. It's -24. So it's really more of a background layer. And then let's go to the part after. What I did with the piano is, as you can hear, it starts to build in more rhythm. Changing the notes here. Here I repeat this. I did those little things, creating more rhythm, more movement for like to build towards the chorus. And then I have the strings as well that come in here. Just a melody that's playing on violins and some cellos and basses. It's all pretty simple here. And yeah, I kept it more minimal in this part as well. And then for the percussion, all I did was some really small percussion with just delays. The delays make a big difference. Like it dances around with ping pong delay. It's also dotted delays, as you can see here. It's actually, I'm not sure if it's, but this is the basic mode. It's somewhat dotted. It's at least not a constant rhythm, so that creates a bit of, how do you say that, syncopation, or like whatever that's called. And with the vocals, might be interesting to showcase the full thing. There's these aha layers in the background. I can't solo those because I have them here. Michael did do a lot of work on the vocals and he did some processing, so he went a bit above and beyond, which I really appreciate him for. But it's really cool, kind of a choir that she sang. And she came up with this, which is just great. And it just makes it that much more moody and fits so well. And also, as you can hear, it's really wide sounding. And now the chorus. So about the chorus, it's quite similar to the one in the original demo. Of course, it's in a different key now, but as you can hear, the strings keep that same. This is a lot of movement for a pop EDM track with vocals, which makes it really quite cinematic. There's also CSS here to make it a bit more full sounding and just smoothing it out, because I don't want it to be too obviously just Pacific here, but that's just some nitpicky thing. Wouldn't worry too much about it. I used the Ramish sound. That is one of the patches that I created for the potion. It's shimmer, but a bit different. So it's basically the same as shimmer, but the difference is that this is made with synths and shimmer is made with samples, which is cello sample basically. And I have that one in here as well. Overall, I like the shimmer sound effect a bit more. Ramish, which is by the way shimmer, but then reversed, I think works well because it cuts through quite easily. It's just a bit less organic. And then we have the legendary bass with the kick that makes it feel very, very cool. That's just very moody. And then the percussion. Basically, what I try to do for all this percussion is just small percussion that I just pick and choose and then put delays on there. It's the same as I did before, but now there's more layers. And there's this. This is a very simple synth pad that I made just quickly. And there's some of the ambience going on as well. As you can hear, it's quite subtle, but it's adding a bit of noisiness. And all that is pretty nice together. Sorry for stopping and starting so many times, just wanna show this. Let's go to the drop. So the drop is something I wrote on the piano and then fleshed out because I read it to drop a lot of times, like I already said. Eventually I stick with this. And I made some huge synth wall sound here as well with the bass that comes into. It's like, and then there's the kick that is quite EDM-y, which is similar to what I did for the Death of My Song and Wasteland, having this like. And then as well as a lot of percussion, like small percussion. And then of course you want to know why the lead sounds so big. It's not just because the una corda layer, it's because we also have this huge. And together that's pretty cool. Michael made them a bit more prominent in the mix, which I like. Yeah, so that's it. It's not super complicated, but it's very fun and I like it a lot how it turned out. So yeah, let's go to the second verse, which is this. This life we bought, lost all its love and all its worth. One thing that it started out, I changed it up again this a lot, especially because Michael eventually said that it would be nice to create some more movement, and it was a bit more boring actually before that. So I didn't have the synth plug and this, and it was more similar to this. I'm actually not sure if it even had shimmer going on then. I have to admit this one turned out quite arcane-y. Just with the synth plug, it personally reminded me quite a bit of Goodbye, so there was a lot of imposter syndrome involved in that. But I still decided to go with it and just better that because I didn't try to copy anything. It's just the type of music that I love and like to make as well. So, but I made this plug myself in Diva, and it's built around this cool opening up with the velocity, like you can hear here. And I think all the synth stuff, as well as just with the strings and I layered the plug with this, with pizzicatos. So these are pizzicato strings that sound similar to the plug in the synth to create some organic vibe. And then we have the atmospheres, which is one thing I added here is the string foundations, like the solo strings I used in Wasteland as well. But I made them grow quite significantly, as you can hear. So it really goes up. Flatando trills I used. And I really like how this all sounds together, also with the piano. With the shimmer sound effect as well. And then here, after that, we get the strings that come in, like huge legato strings and more drums. We still have the chord stuff going on from the fracture sounds. But I think I used a different one here. Yeah, it's the alternations. And here it really grows dynamically. Like you can hear how the synth grows in dynamics, which really helps with the transition. If you hear it in context, because this is a really important thing about transitions, you wanted to build it up in the instrumentation and the production as well. So compared to the first chorus, it's a lot of it stays the same. What the biggest change is probably the fact that I added some more signature sounds, I think. No, I didn't even. What I did was I added this. Yeah, this is it. So we have this plug. Oh, this. Yeah, basically that. And we have some more atmospheres as well. So I just want it to grow a bit. Just to make it bigger than the first chorus. And then this is a patch that is really, really cool. It's the Oliver Arnold's Stratus thingy that I did quite a lot of stuff within the plugin itself to kind of create my own sound with it. And yeah, that's it for this. And then we have this is my favorite part when the drop comes. It's again similar to the one before that, but it's a bit bigger. There's a bit more layers to it. And there's the plug as well. As you can see, there's the and now it's gonna modulate up higher and repeat the chorus. And that's something that made it feel really complete and finished to me, where you have the chorus that is coming back in a higher key with the modulation, and then also having the drop, basically the whole instrumentation of the drop still going on, and as well as some of the sound effects that create a lot of atmosphere. This continues to go on with the whole thing. And yeah, so it's a very special track to me. And the outro is quite simple. It's just a bit more moody and emotional. We have the string thingy from the Fracture Sounds string soloist, this one, going on. And we have the Stratus synth also going on, as well as the other sounds from the intro and stuff. So it's just a lot of atmospheres, piano, and yeah, it kind of gets carried by the little synth sound from Stratus, which is great. Yeah, that's it for this track. This is probably one of the longest walkthroughs of all the tracks, because this track is also, it's been a beast. Lots of rewriting parts in the production, at least. The lyrics went pretty smoothly, like I said. It was crazy experience, and I feel really proud that I managed to see it all the way through, because this is one of the first vocal tracks that I did, and it just took so long to get done. It's been a wild ride. I'm going to show you the vocoders in Ableton as well, just like I did for Wasteland, which is going to make this even longer, but it's cool to show because there's also vocoders going on with the vocals, and they're super fun. And after that, that will be the video. So let's go to Ableton. We are in Ableton, and these are the ones that I created for the track. So I'll just show you those. Let's enable them first. Activate clips. Here we go.
Tell me it's my fault.
Here we go.
And this is wrong. You're a liar. You put everything on fire. You stole my heart and let it lie there. Why did I settle with a buyer?
Michael made them much nicer and did some cool stuff with it. I also think I provided them a few different versions of the synth inputs, which is for the vocoder we do like this, but I think I used this one.
Wrong, you're a liar. You put everything on fire.
But you can also do like
you stole my heart and let it lie there.
For a bigger sound, so it's a bit what you want. But I think I did the more simplified one as the main layer. I think Michael used that one as well, if my guess is correctly. I didn't ask, but it's one of the vocoder renders that I provided him at least. The cool part is you can just do whatever you want, like I showed you last time with the vocoders. It's just super flexible. So if we disable the music,
and this is wrong. You're a liar.
I played the melody.
You put everything on fire.
So what I did in the MIDI, as you can see, I hard quantized it for it to make it sound the best. I played the melody that the vocal was singing as well as the harmony, which was a nice touch because then you get this.
And this is wrong. You're a liar.
You get the robot synth sounding, this being the singer together with Megan, which is really cool.
And this is wrong. You're a liar.
And then also the harmony under that.
You put everything on fire. You stole my heart and
there we go.
There. Why did I settle with a buyer?
And we have the same here, but a bit bigger.
And this is wrong. You're a liar. You put everything on fire.
The cool part is we can just do whatever we want. So again, if I disable these, this is also what I showed for Wasteland. It's just too fun not to do. I can just do this, and then we have the vocals.
Piece by piece, I sold my shares, heart in hand. But did I care? Because you ran with every piece of me, and I don't know if there's an end to this. And I try to make the best of it, but I find it hard when you tell me it's
Now it's a bit overwhelming. Oh, we can turn it down a bit. And here we go. To this part. And
You tell me it's my fault. And this is wrong, you're a liar. You put everything on fire. You stole my heart and let it lie there. Why did I settle with a buyer?
it's just so fun. You can just play with it as much as you want. And that's also what I did for many hours. Just like with Wasteland. But with this one, I was a bit more chill, luckily.
You tell me it's my fault. And this is wrong, you're a liar. You put everything on fire. You stole my heart and let it lie there. Why did I settle with a buyer?
A lot of fun. Yeah, and that's just how I approach it. I'm not gonna spend too much time with that. So yeah, that was the vocoder for the buyer. This is the breakdown of the entire track. I hope it was interesting to see. It was a lot of fun to make. It took so long, but it was very much worth it. I'm very happy how it turned out. Wishing you a great whatever it is.